We are back for episode 13 of the Frontline Fanatics podcast. I didn't think we were going to be here. I don't know if you thought we were going to be here listening out there, but we've got some Richmond Spiders postseason basketball. And as much as you guys might think that Aggie and I just love to see the fall of this team, we're both excited that we still get to see some games this year, even though it's not traditional March Madness. So you guys know me. You guys know Aggie. NIT bracketologist in residence is here. What's going on, buddy? And how you feeling right now? I feel weird. I feel excited, but weird.
Yeah, I'm with you. First off, I just want to say it again. You can't spell NIT without Frontline Fanatics. So thank you for tuning in and supporting. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. Feeling good overall. Happy, doing well. But yeah, it's definitely a weird situation that we're in. I kind of, after that loss to Duquesne in the A10 tournament, I was kind of just like, all right, I'm done. It was a long season, went through a lot with COVID and just not a ton of winning. And then, when the weird stuff happened with, Kansas and UVA, with them pulling out of their tournaments and their status being up in the air, and then teams that were on the bubble saying, okay, we're not really interested in playing in the NIT. So once those teams dropped out, I think it was like St. John's and someone else, and they were like, we're not really interested. I was like, okay, well, this gives us, a chance. I don't necessarily think maybe that we deserve to get in, but I think people, for some reason, all season have loved us in bracketology stuff. They always put us up there. Well, Richmond's one of those teams that can make a run. So I think it's good for them in terms of, if we can make a run, it's good for our program, and it just makes the analysts look good too. But yeah, I'm excited for more basketball. I'm never going to be upset with more basketball, no matter who we're playing, even if it is the NIT, as long as it's not a painful NIT loss like Miami from a couple years ago. I don't think I can go through that again. But yeah, interested to see what's going to happen. We're going to get into the team first, and then we'll talk about the matchup with Toledo on Wednesday. To start off, some news from Noah Goldberg's source regarding that Grant will not be playing in this next game. And that immediately followed with Chris Mooney's press conference that Evan got a chance to watch that I haven't yet, saying that he's questionable. Evan, you can get into that a little bit more, but some stuff is definitely up in the air with Grant, and it's kind of a weird situation for me. After watching him that last game, he looks kind of checked out, and not checked out, but like pissed off. And that kind of made me feel like he's checked out and done with playing for the year, and maybe for Richmond as a whole. I'm starting to think that more now than earlier. Like in the last episode when I said everyone was coming back, don't feel that way anymore. But yeah, definitely a weird situation. I kind of think he's done now.
Yeah, so my take on this is, so in the press conference, Coach Mooney used the term, he loves this term, game time decision. And I know that's not, people use that everywhere, but what we've come to know with Coach Mooney using the term game time decision is that usually means if he designates a player that way, they're not going to play. And he used that term to describe both Blake, who's dealing with the hip, and Grant, who's dealing with the finger. And what's, like you said, what's interesting is Noah Goldberg, who's, the student journalist insider on Richmond, has a source. We don't know who this is or what they are or whatever, that Grant's not going to play. And in the press conference, he literally said to Coach Mooney, after Coach Mooney said Grant is a game time decision, he said, "Coach, I have a source saying that there's no way Grant plays. What is your response?" And Coach Mooney doubled down and then tripled down when he was asked for clarification that he is a game time decision. So my personal thought is that neither Grant or Blake will play, not only in this first game against Toledo, but also potentially the entire NIT.
Blake is also a game time decision for those who don't know.
Yeah, right. So Blake is also a game time decision. And here's why I don't think either of them will play. Originally I was going to talk a little bit about, like you said, Grant's frustration at the end of that game could have been carrying over to now, and maybe there isn't as much motivation to continue playing when we've missed out on our goal for the year. But if we look at it, logically and with a little bit of realism, for Grant specifically, his finger injury is something that does not heal over time. He's basically been putting off surgery to be able to play in the A10 tournament, and he will only be able to progress forward in his basketball career with surgery, right? He can't just keep playing. So, and as you and I have talked about, we think Grant and Blake are the two front runners to have a successful professional career, with Grant probably being at the highest highest level of that with Blake behind him. So in my opinion, Grant's probably sitting there saying, hey, look, sure, I could play in the NIT, but I could be risking further injury. Maybe he just wants to get surgery done with so that he can, take the spring and summer to start getting prepped for pro ball and whatever that process is going to be. Maybe he enters the draft. And for Blake, it's probably the same. Blake's hip, I think, is something that will get better over time. But maybe there's a chance he doesn't want to chance it, right? He doesn't want to get a worse hip injury, or maybe because he's favoring that hip, he plays a little off balance and that puts him at risk for other injuries. And so I think both you and I will absolutely admit we get it. Like, we get if neither of these guys play. They're both fifth years. They're both very – I mean, you and I talked about this, and people were giving you some flack, I think, for saying everybody's coming back.
Yeah.
It's pretty unlikely at this point that either of those guys come back, I think. And I would go as far as to say there's no chance either comes back.
Yep.
So I get it. If they just want to move on, they want to get surgery or get started with their rehab process and get ready for what the next chapter is. And I think that's what we're seeing. And it stinks because anyone with who knows this team knows that is a severe hindrance to our chances of doing anything in the NIT. But it's kind of what happens. So I don't think, no one should be questioning like their effort or their love for the game or their desire to win. It's just sometimes life's bigger than college basketball, right? And for these guys, they've got a next step lined out for them. So that's my thought.
Yeah.
On why that's kind of transpiring.
No, I totally agree with you. I think, it's a calculated decision. You're always going to make calculated decisions in your life, especially for them when there is potential to have a life after college basketball. So I think it's probably the right move, though people will, including us, will say what we really think it is. But, it's not like let's be honest, if we were in the NCAA tournament, this would be a different situation. Both of these guys would be doing whatever they have to do to get on the floor. But it seems like we didn't really, I don't know, this is totally an outside looking in opinion. The way the season ended, I feel like we just kind of wanted to be done with this year. It was a disappointing year for everyone, really. And now we're like back in this NIT tournament. I just think these guys didn't really want to play as a whole. And I think that totally factors into that as well. Like everyone knows, these guys don't get paid to play college basketball. So why are you going to play in a postseason tournament that really doesn't matter at all just to try to win a couple games? And like what happens if, like you said, if something happens where, you win one or two games, but you sustain further injury, or someone who was healthy gets injured, like let's say, God forbid, someone that tears an ACL, they're done for the whole season next year. So I totally get it. I think we're both on the same page there.
It is interesting, though, to think about, like you said, if this was the NCAA tournament, we both think it would be a lot different. And I still think
it's tough.
Dude, a lot of the questions asked today at that press conference I was listening into was like, how did the team react to that loss? Like, how did they react to getting the NIT selection? And I think a lot of people are all, under the same kind of thought here that this team isn't as likely to be energetic and pumped up to play in the NIT as maybe a team like Toledo who we're playing, right? So, again, we don't know these people personally. This is all speculation, but if you put one and two together, it makes a lot of sense that especially a lot of these older guys might be, angry about the season and either ready to move on to the next step or move on to the next year. And maybe that goes down to the younger guys. So it's a precarious position to be in. I think it's hard for Coach Mooney. Yeah, hard for Coach Mooney to navigate. And we'll see. I mean, again, my prediction is that neither of those guys will play, not only in the first game, but if we win the rest of the entire NIT.
If you had to pick, though, who would you say is more likely to play in this first game?
Blake, because like I said, Grant's injury is literally it cannot be. It's not over time. So he just got a finger. He's got a bone in his finger that's like going the total wrong way. Yeah. So I think it's Blake. I would love to see Blake play because as much as you and I like joke about Blake Harden, like he's fun to watch.
He's great. Yeah,
we know
it'd be great to get one more game out of him for sure.
Right.
Just as a fan perspective,
he gives 100% effort, and we know he's fun to watch. Right. So again, not to say anything about Grant, but it would be great to see Blake play once. But my prediction is neither of them are going to play in the entire NIT, which leaves us to fill 2 starter spots in this next game. So I think we'll talk about that a little bit, but one thing we haven't talked about yet is the game. We are playing
the actual game.
Toledo, I think the regular season champion of the MAC,
Yeah,
We all love
MAC
some
West.
MAC.
Yep.
This is a big MAC podcast,
What's not to
MACtion
love
fan.
about the MAC? Yeah, 21
And
and 8 on the season.
so this team, yeah, they had a great year, although they didn't really play anybody. Their best win, I think, was their in-conference win against either like the Akron Zips or Ohio, who's now in the tournament, even though Ohio was only like 15-8 in this whole season. They played Xavier, I think it is, and lost by 2, but Xavier's not even an at-large team.
Yeah, by 3.
And they lost to 20 by Michigan. However, we lost by like 30 to West Virginia, who's also on Michigan's level. So maybe
and
that
both
puts
those
us
games were like 3 months ago, or 4 months ago now. So a lot has changed pretty much.
A lot has changed, but they're a good team. And here's my thing. I'll pass it over to you to do some initial analysis on what Toledo's got. But a full strength,
huge Rockets guy over here.
A full strength Richmond team. I would actually pick this as a great matchup for us at full strength for a few reasons, and I'll leave those for a little bit. But what do you think?
Little teaser. I love it.
What do the people need to know about the Toledo Rockets?
Yeah, huge Toledo Rockets fan. I would call myself a Toledo Rockets expert after watching about 30 minutes of film on them. I'm an expert. All right, so these guys are fun to watch. They're, in my opinion, they're a lot like us. They're not the biggest team, but they're built similarly to us. They have strong guards. They shoot the ball a lot. Want to highlight the boy Spencer Littleson, I think it is. He shot 213 threes this season, made 101, so he's almost shooting 50%, but 213 threes is insane.
Absolute sniper. This guy, I think he shot like 45% on the season and 50% in conference play. Sniper.
Which is nuts. Like, they shoot a lot, but they make their shots. He's like white guy, ponytail, really weird shot, a lot of fadeaways, but you got to respect that. So he's a threat. He's a double-digit guy. Ryan Rollins is a freshman guard for them, 6'4", freshman, really good player, averages like 13.5 and 5.5 rebounds a game, was super solid. And then their top guy, in my opinion, is Marion Jackson. I think that's how you say it, right? If it's not, shout out Marion. I apologize. He's 6'1" senior. They're also an older team. They have a lot of seniors like us. Averages 18.4 points per game, 6.1 rebounds. This dude can get buckets. He can shoot outside. He can get to the rim. Overall, I said it to Evan before we got on. I said they're a pretty athletic team, and then Evan gave me some pushback there, and I was like, you know what? Well, they're quick. They get up and down the court, and they shoot a lot, and they don't really play defense. So it is kind of that spray and pray ball, almost a little bit like St. Joe's, but they're obviously better than St. Joe's. So I think that's a little bit of my initial analysis. And one other thing that was big, like you said, they didn't really play a ton of guys, but they did win 10 of their last 14 games in the season, averaging like 80 points a game, but they do give up 70 points a game, which isn't great. But they shoot 45% from the field, so I guess like anything else, you shoot your shot hard enough, you're going to hit some every once in a while. So I'll hand it over to you, Ev, to give some continued analysis on there.
Yeah, I think it's Marion Jackson or Marion Jackson. I hope it's one of those.
Yeah.
But
it's actually it's Marion actually.
Let's go through. Well, do they have like the pronunciation guide when I click his name? No, that would be easy.
No.
So I mean, look, let's not sugarcoat this. This team is really good, and they're very similar to us. So Jackson is the MAC Player of the Year. Check right there. Very legit. 18.5 points. 18, 6, and 6 is really solid. 91% from the free throw line, automatic. 35% from 3 and 40% from the field. Dude's I would say he's a volume shooter, but he's clearly not if you're shooting 40% from the field, 35% from 3. So dude's just a bona fide scorer.
He's a beast.
Littleson, you mentioned, knockdown shooter, like third. How many? You said he shot 200 threes on the year, and he's 47%.
213 threes. 101 for nuts. 213. That's crazy.
And then Rollins is the MAC Freshman of the Year.
Yep.
And then their coach is the MAC Coach of the Year. So we've got MAC Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Freshman of the Year, and then Littleson, I think, was second team and first team all defense. So this guy's got a lot of talent.
One other guy they got is Cedric Milner too. He averages like 7 boards a game. He's not huge. I think not huge. He's 6'6", but he's kind of like a Grant-esque player, but very athletic.
I was going to get into that, and I'll get into it in a second. But what I just wanted to say really quickly, all 5 of their starters average double figures. Can you think of another team that's like that right now?
Richmond Spiders.
There you go. So that's really unique, right? So I think both of these teams are offensive minded, and I actually think Toledo's a little worse on defense than we are. But it's just it's just a similar matchup on paper. I just think in the way these teams play, they might be a little bit more open to shooting at will versus us trying to get that good look every possession.
Mhm.
But the reason why I hinted back then that I think this would be a really good matchup for us on paper. So you mentioned Cedric Milner. He's their 4. He's 6'6". And if he's a 6'6" forward, I think he's probably like actually 6'5" or 6'4" in real life.
Yep.
And then JT Schumett is their center, and he's 6'7", 210.
Yeah.
So
in a game like this, if we had Grant, that would match up well too.
They're small, and they don't rebound incredibly, 37 a game. They only average 10 offensive rebounds a game, which is not that anything crazy.
Nothing crazy. Yep.
And they don't block any shots. Like they average 2.5 shot blocks a game. So like if you guys think about Duquesne, the game we just lost, they've got those 2 guys down there. I think it's Hughes and Weathers. They block shots and they rebound. And so this team is a complete opposite.
They blocked a lot of shots in that game.
And I think you and I, like when we would watch Richmond non-conference games where maybe Toledo is a better team than some of the teams we play in non-conference in the past. But I'm thinking mostly a lot of those Virginia schools like Hampton, ODU, like these teams, or Radford, these teams usually have like one guy who puts up like 20 a game. And he's just like a 6'1" point guard. And that's exactly who this Jackson guy is. But it looks like this team is really complete, and they have a good cast around him. But they don't rebound, they don't block shots. And so we all know our kryptonite is when a team rebounds, block shots, and they don't seem terribly athletic. Like they don't have that many big guys. Like, Jackson is 6'1", Littleson is 6'4", and he's not playing above the rim, and like Rollins is 6'4". So they're not that big, they're not that athletic. I will give a shout out to AJ Edu. He is their 6'10" center who got hurt second game of the year. He was their starting center, averaged like 8 rebounds a game. So maybe if they still had him, be a little different. But they basically, like you said, they basically just committed to like small ball Houston Rockets. Like we used to say we're Houston Rockets, but no, these guys are just pulling threes, running in transition, like not playing much defense. So again, if we had Grant in there, I would be very confident. I would actually be almost locked to take Richmond to win this game.
Yeah.
But now I would not at all, because I think we're going to miss 2 starters to what is Blake's second team and Grant's third team. So 2 all A10 caliber players. And so I wouldn't at all. And I would pick Richmond to lose this game. But let's get into that a little bit. I mean, what do you think about us potentially losing those 2 guys? Who do you see the starting 5 being with those 2 out? And how do you think, how is it possible that we could win this game even with those guys not playing?
Yeah, so Richmond is 2.5-point favorite as of now, Monday at 9:56 p.m. Obviously, depending on those game time decisions, I think that could change a lot.
We think that's changing to Toledo's way. I would definitely recommend grabbing some value on Toledo +2 if you can.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think if we don't have them, it's going to be tough. I don't think we'll win this game either, especially if we don't have them and we're just not motivated at all. I don't think there's a chance we win. Starting lineup, let's say they both don't play. As much as after last game, it's tough, but I think it's going to be Jacob. I do think Andre is going to start, even though that last performance was atrocious. Burton, obviously, at the 3, probably Sal Caressi at the 4, and then and Grace probably. I think that's unless we're going to go younger.
Did Nathan Ko go back to Canada?
Oh, Nathan Ko. Jesus, sorry, Nate. I blacked out there. So I think we still start. Honestly, I think we still start Sal and put Ko at the 5.
Interesting. So I would expect us to run out with – see, that's really tough. I think obviously Gilliard's at the 1.
There's a couple different mixes they could use.
Burton's at the 3. Ko's at the 4. So the question for me is who are at the 2 and the 5. I think, Mooney, you're right, we'll probably start Gustafson.
Yep.
I think 100% he should start Isaiah Wilson. Now, maybe he's worried about Gustafson, getting upset. Everyone and their mom is in the transfer portal right now.
Yeah.
Maybe Andre.
The whole UMass team.
Seriously. Oh, God, we're getting to that.
Yeah.
Maybe, he doesn't want to try to set Andre off, so he'll start Andre. But we saw over really the last couple regular season games and then the one game we played in the freaking tournament, for God's sake. We saw that Isaiah gave us better minutes offensively and defensively. He was knocking down some threes. He was competing on defense. And so I think Mooney should roll with the hot hand there and get him out there. And I think Andre's better off the bench personally, and maybe he'll be able to see that. And then at the 5, I think he will run out Matt Grace instead of Sal. I think unfortunately, I thought this was going to be a defining year for Sal, and I mean, maybe it has been in the wrong way. I just don't think Sal's a fit on this team at all. Nothing against him personally. It's just he came out as a 3-star recruit, and it just has not found a role outside of being a bench big man to give us like some fouls and maybe a block shot every other game. So I think he'll roll with Grace because he's at least shown us he'll hit a 3 every now and again. Like he's not going to rebound or play any defense, but he'll hit a 3. And so if we're going with that, projected lineup to me of Jacob, Andre, Tyler, Nate, and Matt Grace, I mean, to me, unless Tyler Burton's playing like early season Tyler Burton where he's an NBA player.
Or the first half of the A10.
Yeah, or Nate is going like, Nate KO 10 for 12 mode. Like, we're not going to be able to manufacture our own shots. And you're going to see a lot of what we saw in that second half against Duquesne where we just couldn't get an open look. Like, it was that brutal. So, hopefully you guys understand why we're not too high on that. Again, on paper, I think this is a great matchup for us. Toledo's never seen us. I mean, I would say this is a game where Jacob gets 4 steals. We get a couple of easy backdoor looks, but I'm just not that confident with running our offense through Matt Grace as opposed to Grant. And I just don't think Grant plays in this game, so I can't get too excited about it.
The only reason I think Grace comes off the bench is just because I feel like he doesn't really play extended minutes very often, and when he does, he gets into foul trouble. So if you start him and he's getting in foul trouble really early in the game, where do you go from there? So I feel like it's better to have him off the bench as an alternative, but who knows? I guess we'll see in a couple of days. Also depends on who's playing and who's not. So I think that's probably it. That's all I have. I think that was pretty good. Prediction, I'm going to go Toledo 74, Richmond 68.
Wow.
Pending they both don't play. Pending they both.
So I was to say, pending both non-playing, I'm actually going to go Toledo gives us like 80. Toledo gives us 81 to 74.
Okay.
And if Blake Harden does play, I'm going to go. I think we can. I'm going to go Richmond 78, Toledo 72. So I think he's that much of a swing to our offense. So
we need him cooking. We need him cooking.
That is that's our prediction on that game and analysis of both teams. One thing that's interesting on the NIT though, and I don't know if you have any thoughts on this. 3-bid league is what we thought. Well, we're actually, what is it, a 6-bid league?
6-bid league, baby, yeah.
4-8. I don't know how actually, okay, I do know.
It's there's just no A10 tournament part 2.
Well, there's no way Dayton makes the NIT without like 6 teams backing out. Like we're a 2-line.
Yeah, dude.
I think we're maybe a 4-line. Like
the minute I saw Dayton's name, I'm like, we're in. If Dayton's in, we're in.
We're a 2. Yeah. So it's it's us, Dayton, Davidson, and SLU, and we're on the same bracket as SLU. So if we win this game, we get a SLU rematch, and that'll
potentially if they win.
Who do they play? Do we know?
Mississippi State.
I don't know anything about them.
They're okay. They're decent. They can play hard.
I don't know. I kind of like SLU to make a run. Like I would bet my money on SLU winning.
I want SLU to win. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And we'll cheer for them for sure. It will be really interesting to see if we do match up with them second round because I don't know. If we don't have Grant still, like they're gonna murder us inside.
Yeah, I mean, when we did have,
let's not count our chickens before we lose to the Rockets.
Yeah, we'll talk about that if we get there.
Any thoughts on 4-bid NIT A10 though?
Very interesting. I think like a lot of these, if you listen to a lot of shows or watch a lot of shows, you'll get. I've been getting this take. I think it really just shows the power shifting in college basketball. I mean, I know the NIT doesn't mean much and people opt out, but if you just look at the regular tournament too, there's so many blue bloods that aren't there this year, and I think the mid majors are really starting to get some more power and some more credibility. Like even the MAC has 2 teams for the first time in NIT this year. So with Buffalo and whoever we're playing, Toledo. So I think it's good. I think it's good for us as a conference. And I guess it just shows that we also want to play as opposed to some of these other teams. But that's about all I have.
So like you referred to, I think there is a little bit of A10 news worth talking about. I mean, it's related to the transfer portal, right? And just like, I mean, the transfer portal is insane right now.
It's so hot. It's going to be such a cool offseason.
Yeah. And we thought this was going to happen. Like we figured a lot of teams would just be losing people left and right. But I don't know. It's been crazy already. And one team in particular, UMass, got absolutely hammered by the transfer portal today. Yeah. Trey Mitchell, who's our best player, got entered.
He was shoved into the transfer portal.
And then there's a report that like 6 additional players might also be in the portal, so they're going to lose their whole team. I mean,
Yeah, crazy.
That just gets me nervous about like what could happen after this season for us.
Yeah, and I mean they had a good year too.
A better than expected year, especially in conference.
Yeah, so I don't know. It was surprising for me, but I mean, good for the players, I guess. Players are finally getting some power, especially in this year where they're able to finally get a leap into potentially going to a bigger school. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, Trey Mitchell's a beast. He's going to be one of the highest recruited transfers, if not the highest. So I mean, we'll definitely see him at a Power 5 next year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how high do you think he goes? Like, does he get like
I think he could go to
high
a top
P5?
I think he'd go to a top 25 easy. Yeah, I think he's that talented. And I don't think their coaching is great up there. So
speaking of transfer portal, we have some breaking news into the Frontline Fanatics
no
news
way.
desk.
Oh Lord!
Breaking news: DeMonte Buckingham at Do It for G10 will be entering the transfer portal and leaving Cal State Bakersfield as a grad transfer.
Wow.
Do we think?
I didn't even know he had eligibility left.
Do we think there is any chance that Chris Mooney gives him a phone call and says, DeMonte, we know what happened before, but we want you back on the team. You can be our star. Or are we making that phone call?
There's no chance. No chance. I mean, maybe there's a chance he wants to come back and play in Richmond, but if he's coming back, he's going to VCU, bro.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what.
My God. Can you imagine if he goes to VCU and then just hooks us?
I mean, he probably would. He didn't. It's funny that just happened because I randomly tweeted that photo of him when I was watching the game the other day, and it got like a good amount of likes, which was strange. But he played like 12 minutes, I think, a game. He averaged like 12 points a game, I think.
Yeah.
In like 20 minutes, so he was a role player, but he's still got talent for sure. I'd be interested to see where he goes. I think he's gonna want to aim higher than coming back to Richmond, though. I don't know if that's ever happened. That it probably never happened. That
I don't think it could possibly
out and then come back. And plus, with the sketchiness of whatever went on there, I don't think he has any interest.
I just thought that was interesting. Hopefully he doesn't go back to 8-10 because that would just be so depressing.
I'm gonna tweet about it right now. Hashtag Buckingham to VCU.
In other former Richmond, transfer news, Jake Wojcik was giving people some buckets for Fairfield in their conference tourney, which was cool to see. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he put up like 20 plus in a game in the semifinal or the quarterfinal. I
loved him. I never wanted him to leave. I think he got shafted, but
well, dude, he's just some much needed shooting. I mean, we've shown without Blake Harden on the court, like we just have no shooting. I mean, Blake Harden and Sherrod, it's just been a complete loss of our perimeter game. And we didn't even shoot that bad percentage wise, but I don't know. I think Burton really fell off towards the end of the year in terms of him shooting. So
definitely,
I thought everybody would enjoy that DeMonte Buckingham transfer news.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
That just came across my desk there.
Nice.
So I mean, I think we're we kind of walked through everything we wanted to talk through today. I don't think we said this. So the game's at Wednesday night, 7 p.m. in Texas. I mean, I frankly, I'm kind of happy we're not playing at our home court because, like, I feel like a team like Toledo would come into our home court and just hit like 43s in a game.
Yes, definitely. Everyone shoots better in the Robins Center. It's a fact.
So again, don't if you're listening out there, don't take our negativity on the team as the fact that we don't want them to win. We would love them to make a run at the NIT and win the whole thing. That'd be great. It would be kind of annoying because then we get that email at the end of the season that's like, Richmond has a great season and wins the NIT.
Yeah, that was my favorite part last week when I got the basketball update and it was just about the women's team. I was like, oh damn, that's sad.
Dude, it's so funny. Oh my God, what was it?
Not sad though. Not totally sad because the women's team is good.
In the NIT selection show, Richmond signature wins over Vanderbilt.
Oh Vanderbilt,
dude, they're so
bad.
How is that possibly possibly noteworthy? Dude, our Loyola Chicago win. I know I'm kind of rambling now, but
no, I don't know how that.
Wait, did you get that? Loyola Chicago rambling. They're the Ramblers. That was
that's
sick.
Good. That was nice.
Sick.
That's good.
I honestly didn't even do that.
That's the Instagram right there.
So they, when we watched them, we smoked them, or we played them. We smoked them in the first half.
Easy win. Yeah.
And they're like top 15 in Ken Pop.
Yeah, they're an 8 seed, right? Which I think was even low for them.
Very low. Most people thought they were gonna be like a 6 or 7 line. So I'm inclined to pick them to lose first round just because if we almost ran them out of the gym, how can they possibly make a run? I think they get Illinois second round, and I'm big on Illinois.
It'd be a good Illinois matchup though.
Yeah. speaking of the tournament, I don't know if we're going to be able to do like a Frontline Fanatics little tournament breakdown because I think it starts on Thursday and,
Yeah.
we'll do like a reaction to whatever happens in the NIT. But really quick before we wrap this up, you got any thoughts on the tournament in terms of teams you like, teams you don't like? We don't need to do a full bracket breakdown because there's plenty of people to do that. But
Yeah.
anything unique to how you're seeing things break out?
Oh man. My top things are unfortunately I'm like outside of Richmond, I root for Michigan basketball. I don't think that they're gonna be able to do it.
Yeah.
With Livers out. It's gonna be tough. I think they'll maybe win. They'll win their first game, maybe the second. I don't think Gonzaga is the team. I think they'll make it Elite Eight and lose. Maybe I forget when they play Illinois, but I think Illinois is too good. I think Ohio State are fraud 2 seed. What else?
Wow. After how well they just played,
I don't think they're good.
Interesting.
What else? Who do I think is gonna win? I don't know who I think is gonna win. I honestly haven't looked too deep at the bracket, so I gotta take a deeper look, and I'll discuss it later on.
I haven't either. I just say I'm. Of course, I want to be high on the A10 teams, but I feel like both Bonnies and VCU got a pretty tough.
They got tough draws. Yeah.
Like Oregon for VCU, and then who do the Bonnies have? They have
LSU.
Yeah,
and LSU is playing really well in that SEC tournament.
Tough draws. I like the Bonnies though. I think they're really good. But no, I'm gonna pick. I am gonna pick Illinois to win the whole thing. I think I'm gonna try to have Gonzaga go out in like the Elite Eight. Like everyone, I'm hearing so many things saying because this is such a crazy year, like it's going to be a chalk tournament and Gonzaga's going to go undefeated. Like I just don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so either. I think because it was such a crazy year, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, and that's not even the narrative of like Gonzaga always loses because that's kind of a false narrative. Like they always make it to the Elite Eight at least.
Yeah.
So I might have them like bowing out in the Elite Eight, but I'm big on Illinois. I'm probably going to pick them to cut down the nets. And then one thing, like literally everybody is picking Villanova to lose to, Winthrop in the first round. It's like a 12-5. And I'm going to pick Villanova to win that game.
I mean, I know they don't have Gillespie, but like they're not that bad still.
Dude, they have Jermaine Samuels. Shout out Kevin Hester, high school teammate, Jermaine Samuels. How many of you out there played with an NBA player in high school? Not me. But yeah.
What about a team like Georgetown? Do you think Georgetown can win?
A lot of people are taking them to go pretty far.
Just because they're hot, though.
Are they a 10 seed? I think they have a pretty favorable 7-10 matchup. I can't remember. Hold on, I got it really quick.
I want to honestly say they're a 12.
Also, a lot of people are really low on Creighton. They're a 12. They play Colorado. Colorado's a team I don't know much about because I can't really watch that much Pac-12.
I don't think Colorado's not good. I watched every game. I watched every game last week.
It's a cool story for Patrick Ewing, like for sure. Like a lot of people were already calling for his head now that he's.
Yeah, because I mean they were so average this year. I was surprised.
I mean, I can't name a single player on their roster.
I think UCSB can beat Creighton.
Oh, a lot of people are saying that too. Which makes you
I think UCSB
Creighton.
is nice.
That makes you want to take Creighton. But
yeah.
Anyway, so I think that's everything. A lot of interesting stuff going on. We'll see if Blake Harden plays. I don't think Grant's going to play. Maybe we'll have like a vintage Jacob Gilliard performance.
Which would be great.
A Tyler Burton NBA player performance.
Sir.
We move on to the second round of the NIT. That's what we hope for as fans, but we like to give you the realistic opinion here. So we'll see. We're again thankful to have Richmond postseason basketball. We haven't had it since we made the NIT in 17, right? And we were like the first
16.
Which year was it? We were the first four out team.
16.
And that's when we played Arizona State and Miami, right? It was like Oakland, Arizona State, and Miami.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. So it's been a while. We're excited to watch it. Hopefully we don't just go out there and like go through the motions and show we have I don't know. A lot of people I know that didn't go to Richmond are texting me saying like Richmond doesn't want to be there. They don't want to play. Hopefully we can prove people wrong because I'd love to see us at least, if I could watch the actual tournament and Richmond running through the NIT at the same time, that'd be pretty
hype.
Cool.
That would be hype.
So hopefully so. That's all I got, man. You got anything else?
No, that's all I got too. I'm trying to make sure if it's 15 or 16. Because I feel like we were first four out our freshman year.
That's what it was. Because I remember.
So it was 15. It was 15 then.
No, but we went to the NIT again.
Did we?
Yeah.
15 was the hot year.
I think we went in 2017. Yes, it was 2017.
Yeah, 15 was the hot year. We
played
St. Francis, Arizona, and then lost to Miami. And then 17, we made it, beat Bama.
Yes, with TJ Klein. Yes.
And then lost to TCU. Yeah.
Yes.
So we made it to the quarters both times. But we were the 1 seed. 2015, 2017, we were the 6.
It's been 4 years since we have been in
Yeah.
postseason basketball. Unless did we go to like some random tournament a couple of years ago?
No, we didn't play in the CBI. I don't think.
No, but it was like outside of the CBI. It was like the
No
Vegas
way.
Invitational. I swear
No
something like
way.
that happened.
All right. Well, look into that. We'll have to bring that up on the next episode if you find it.
Thank you everybody for listening. We will hope you guys are doing well with your brackets. Hope everybody's ready for March Madness. Hopefully it all goes well.
Great to
We're
have
looking
it back.
forward.
Feels so
yeah, it feels so good. We wish Richmond could be there, but we've got the Bonnies, and I can't cheer for VCU, but we got the Bonnies, so
Yeah,
I'll cheer for them.
good. Feels so good to be free. Let's go, baby. Tony time. Thank you for listening, guys. I'm Andrew.
Peace out.
We're out. See ya.
Roll Spide.